Hello, hello, my stitchy friends. Welcome back. My name is Laura. You found Laladi Stitches, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. It is the beginning of July, and I have so much to share with you. I'm so excited. It's been about a month, which is longer than I typically go between my cross-stitch videos, but you know, I was out of town, so excuses. We spent last week in Vegas for a work convention for my husband, which was a lot of fun. It was horrendously hot. For this Pacific Northwestern gal, the average was 115. At night when we would go out to walk the strip, it was around 98, and because of the sun being gone and you know, a drop in almost 20 degrees, it felt considerably cooler, though still very hot. So I don't know, everybody's been hot for the last week. It's I was not alone in this, but yeah, we had a good time. We laid by the pool, we played some golf, and you know, of course, did the convention-y things, saw some old friends, which was really fun. And my only complaint was that our hotel room, we were in the MGM Grand, which is a huge casino. And our room, I swear, was on the opposite side of the campus from the casino. I think we clocked it. And sorry, my nose is super itchy. Let me just scratch it and then we'll get out of the way, hopefully. Anyways, we were on the opposite side, and I think we clocked it at almost a half mile between our room and the work convention, which is also inconveniently where the pool was. So I got a lot more walking in. I mean, of course, it's also Vegas. So in the week, we only did the strip 2 nights because money's a goober. But we had a lot of fun, and yeah, generally it was great. It was a great experience, and it definitely served its purpose in getting us all pumped up for, you know, company pride or whatever. So yeah, it was a good trip, and I did get to go to Stitcher's Paradise, which I'll touch on probably just a few times scattered through the video. Unfortunately, we hoped to go the first day before everything got started. We went down a day early, and because we drove instead of flying down like most people did, and our hope was that we could hit Stitcher's Paradise and do a couple things before everything started rocking and rolling. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Best laid plans, and we wound up going the final day. We were in Vegas, and we were so tired. I was so tired. And there's so much in that beautiful store that, oh my gosh, the samples were really inspiring. I spent most of my time honestly looking at the samples, not really shopping. Probably because I was so tired, but anyways, so I got a few things, but it wasn't quite the extravaganza that I had perhaps originally envisioned it to be, and that's okay. You know, I've had some extravaganza-ing for the last few months here and there, so got a couple fun things that I will be excited to start over the next, you know, 6 months or so, and yeah, had a lovely time. I was so glad to be able to go. I mean, it's so fun. In the last few months, I've been able to touch on a couple of shops that people talk about, but I, you know, had always lived so very far away from that I hadn't been able to go. So next bucket list is to make it east and go to Keepsakes, right? Someday it will happen. Everybody's been coming back from StitchCon, and I'm probably behind the times just because, you know, I've been away. But they've been coming back and doing recaps, and I hope one day to be one of those Flosstubers who comes home from StitchCon and does a recap. Wouldn't that be fun? That would be so fun. I actually got in my first year, so a couple of years ago. I just randomly, I'd been doing Flosstube for a whole 3 weeks, and just randomly like took a chance that I would get in, and I did, but then the financials didn't work out at that time, and so I had to back out, which was unfortunate, but you know, that's proof that it could happen. Perhaps next time with a little more forethought and a little less spontaneity. Let's see. My sister, it's going to be a busy week. So tomorrow is Independence Day here in the States, and next weekend, my sister moves closer to me. We will literally be down the street from each other, which I am thrilled about. It's going to be so nice. So nice to not have to drive. I mean, it was so much closer than we had been, right? I'm not complaining in any way, but now we can just drive down the street to say hello to each other or hang out or take a couple sugar. Instead of it's almost an hour, sometimes if you hit traffic, an hour and a half. So if you hit no traffic, you can do it in just over an hour. It's great. But it'll be nice to eliminate that drive and see each other even more often. She's gonna get sick of me. Small update, and then I'll jump into the stitching on my knee. I did hear back from the MRI yesterday. It took them 1,000 years, or at least it felt like it. My meniscus is not torn, thankfully, and but I do have, and I wrote it down because I knew I wouldn't remember this term, chondromalacia patella, which is apparently Greek for sick knee. And it basically means I had dislocated this knee before about 8 years ago, and the cartilage is just damaged, and so it is actually degrading. That's what everybody wants to hear. And as I've been doing some research, it's not great news, but it's not surgical news. So that is really good. It's really good that surgery is not required. So the course is kind of PT and resting it, and hopefully with strengthening the muscles and everything around it, it will become asymptomatic over the next couple of months. And I mean, it always will have the potential to flare, I think, but we can kind of do preventative things to, stabilize everything in there. And hopefully, it'll be another decade or so before we have to really deal with it. Yeah, so that's the update. It's good news. It's 95% good news. No surgery is great though. So I'm grateful for that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to gaining a bit more mobility and kind of decreasing the pain, because the discomfort is definitely still large and in charge. Yeah. So anyways, that's it. No more stuff like that. Let's talk cross stitch, because I've got tons to show you, and that's what you're really here for, right? First, I'm gonna kind of do this like traditional. Normally I kind of like do my own thing in a loose format, but I'm gonna go a little bit more traditional today. I've got some Foley finishes, I've got some finishes, I've got some starts, I've got some whips, and then I've got my plans. So woo. Let's start with this fully finished. So this one you saw is in this warped frame that I bought for $1 at a thrift store. And you would have seen the finish for it last year, I think. This is Nantucket, Summer in Nantucket, I believe, by Plum Street Samplers. I didn't have all the information. Oh, there we go. Didn't have all the information for it because it's been about a year since I finished it, except with the exception of the 4 blue stitches in the flag. I did those this month because apparently when I finished it last time, I just glossed over those. And anyways, it is now done and truly done. And it is framed, and I'm so excited I'm gonna set it down on my mantle for tomorrow. It has my funky striped tree, which, I mean, it was definitely striped-ish in the sample, but mine became more striped. I did do some color conversions just because of pulling from stash. My whale is a different color. My tree is different. And I want to say that actually this segment of house is different. Anyways, I don't remember. I don't have the information for what I actually did with it, but it's adorable. It's on I would guess a 16 count Aida, something like that. Anyways, I love it. I love the mermaid on the whale and the lighthouse. Those are probably my favorite parts. And maybe the floating quilt blocks through the whole thing. I like all the parts. And it's done, so it won't hide in my closet anymore. The next one is the perfect way to kick off Sci-Fi July. I finished my I Want to Believe poster, which is super glary. I literally robbed a frame to finish this. I actually have it. This was our engagement picture when we were babies 13 years ago. And that used to live in here. But I never this was always just like a temporary frame for that. Temporary for over a decade. And yeah, anyways, I'm super excited to have this done. So I swiped the picture and I laced this onto some, it's not even official poster board. It's just like cardboard from a kit I cut out. But it's not a big frame, so I needed something narrower anyways. And all the glare. There we go. Ha ha. Anyways, yay! I just finished this last night and I laced it this morning because I had the frame and I was like, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be cool to have 2 fully finished? Anyways, so I stitched this on, I'll start giving you more details. Picture This Plus 28 count linen. The color is fawn, which I loved, kind of the aged paper look. The poster, the original poster, which I'll try to edit this into like the corner or something here. Has that similar aged quality at this point. This pattern was from Randomly Generated on Etsy. And, oh my gosh, I have my notifications silenced. I'm hoping that's not coming through. Sorry, you guys. But my phone is still making noise. I have all these texts coming in. The moment you start a video, everybody wants to talk to you. I think it's a thing. Anyways, Randomly Generated on Etsy. I just bought the pattern last summer. I have not confirmed it's still available, but if it is, I will link it down below. It shouldn't have taken me this long to do, but I'm kind of glad it did, just because it was really fun to have a finish, to start the month off with a finish. Last month I started the month off with finishing Stargazer, which was epic. And this month I finished my little poster. But I'm super thrilled. I'm so excited. I'm gonna put it on my wall somewhere. Aliens. The truth is out there. Okay, my last finish is not fully finished yet, but it is Hello Summer by Plum Street Samplers. And when last we met, I don't think I'd done any of the red. I'll have I don't need to do a before picture. That's okay. No before picture. I had a bunch to do, but I did it. And now, poster board, here we go. It is done. I did choose to omit the words. I liked how it looked without them. So it doesn't have the words at the bottom, but everything else is included. I did switch out one color. So it calls for, I think it's Weeks Dye Works. Yes, Weeks Dye Works Sanguine. And that is supposed to be the light pink in there. But my skein of it was rather, I don't know, blah. It was really pretty, but it didn't quite have that rosy hue I wanted. So I swapped it out for Classic Colorworks Rose Petal. And I love it. I also changed, so you'll see in the original, the little star above the watermelon is brown in the original. It's the same color as the vines and the outsides of the flowers. And I wanted the blue in like one more spot just to kind of balance it out, because elsewise the blue is only up in the flag. So I changed my little star to blue, and I like that. I like the balance there. It just has a little bit more sparkle. This is stitched on, oh, gotta flip this over again. Oh, my nose, goodness, excuse me. 32 count, Fortnite Fabrics linen. The color is outrageous. And again, I really liked this one for the same reason my other is that it had that kind of old paper aged look, and I love the warmth of it. Really fun. Yay! I was a little intimidated by the flag when I first approached it, but it was one of my favorite parts to stitch. It was very satisfying, and it went a lot faster than you'd think it would. Yeah, super fun. So there she be. Finish number 3. All right, we'll set that over there. Scratch my nose for the 1000th time. I don't know what it is. I've been in this room most of the morning. It's not like it's new. All right, so those are my finishes. Before we jump into what I worked on, other than those, let's look at my planner, because I forgot to. So I'm working from my Hobonichi still. I haven't switched out, which is pretty good for me. Usually I get 4 or 5 months into a planner and then I'm like, I need a different format. I need something fresh, but you know, this is working. It's good. So this is my year overview, and on this one I've been tracking days I didn't stitch. That's the slashes. So you can see there are a lot of days I don't stitch. Some months more than others. January I stitched almost every single day. February was pretty good too, but then it's like chunks. I mean, almost all of April. It's amazing I get anything done. And then up here I'm tracking, it's my stats. And it's how many I finish and how many I start. So June I finished 3 and I started 2. And that feels wrong. That feels like I missed something, because I think I have 3 starts. Oh, I just added something in. I need to update that. So 3 and 3, and May I had 1 finish and I started 4. So they're not always balanced. I started out the year really good. It was like 2 for 2, 2 for 2, and everything was staying really even keeled, and it's fine. But the cool thing is 2, 4, 5, 8. I've finished 8 projects this year so far. Not counting my fully finished that was like already done. So that's pretty fun. It's pretty fun to be able to see it that way. Okay, so then this was last month's month overview, which is only cross stitch. And I didn't have a comprehensive project list here, but you can see there were a lot of days I did not stitch. And my theme was summer. That's what I've been kind of doing, is Mira May, and this was kind of like earthy theme that month, and fantasy February. I didn't write it, but it's like kind of suggested. And then I've got my pages. Let's see, where did we meet last? Oh, well, we'll just casually flip through. So in these pages, I tracked both my quilting and my cross stitch. And if it's highlighted, that was probably a new start or a finish. And I kind of make my goals in this side, and then I write what I actually did in the others. This is last week. I was tripping, traveling. That sounded bad. I was on a trip. So I really only stitched at the weekend. I took stitching with me. I thought, oh, I will have time. I will stitch by the pool. I will have evenings up in my room. What was I thinking? What was I smoking? Like, I was in Vegas. There was no stitching happening, and it was way too hot to sit out and stitch. Like, the shade spots are, at least at our casino, were pretty much poolside shade spots, I should clarify. They're pretty much all reserved. Like, you have to pay to use the shade. It was insane. It was stupid. Anyways, I had a big sun hat and sunscreen, and it was fine. And we only stayed out for like an hour or so. Anyways, so this is this week. We're just getting started. Had to move my Flosstube to today because life. And I've got my goals and my quilting goals. And yeah, I'm all organized, which feels good. I definitely have months where it's a bit more like survive it. So it's kind of fun to have it a bit more set. All right. I had 3 starts since we met last, which were in order until I added something on top of it, but that's today. I guess I could do it. Okay, I've got 4. But that's a new month, so it's okay. So this is can be hard to show clearly. The picture is not great, but it's Summer by Sarah Guermani. I hope I'm not butchering her name, but I got her pattern off of Etsy. I've actually been watching, she has a super cute Halloween town and Christmas town that I had in my wish list on 123 Stitch for 1,000 years. But through 123 Stitch, they run about $30 for a pattern, and I believe that's because it includes buttons and stuff like that. And of course, it's a printed copy. She actually has an Etsy site though, and she was running a 50% off sale, so I was able to get this for 50% off. And the nice thing is, though she does include buttons in the picture, she actually charts out those critters too. So you can do sans buttons, which is great. I almost didn't start this. I really wanted to. I was watching Brenda, Handwork Maniac, and her stitching is impeccable. Oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. If you want to be inspired, go watch her, because even just her wall of goodies behind her is like, wow. She's got chatelaines and epic mirrors or lavender. It might even be a lavender and lace. Anyways, stunning work. She does really good. It's fun. Anyways, she was working on, I don't remember if it was spring or summer, but it was right around the time I bought this, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see that and, you know, get some inspiration, because I just bought my first pattern from her. But then I didn't know if I wanted to do what fabric I wanted to use, because it's a large design. It's 280 stitches by 263 stitches. So if you go 28 count, it's not a small a small picture, a small finish. In fact, I have it here. It would finish 20 by 18.7. And I really wanted to go more like a 36, which brings it down about 5 inches. For some reason, that just seemed like a good thing. But then I didn't have anything in stash, and I actually took this to Stitcher's Paradise, and I didn't even look at it while I was in there. So I did not buy fabric for it. So I came home and I was like, oh man, I really wanted to start that for like my start of summer start. even though it was a week later due to traveling. But I don't know, I just kept hesitating, and I finally decided to stop hesitating and just embrace the big. I don't know why I was so caught up in that, the fact that it would wind up, you know, bigger. It's only 5 inches bigger, you know, it's probably about that big, you know, and so it's a big piece, but Stargazer's big. I don't know. It'll just be a gorgeous wall hanging. I don't know why I got all bent up. Anyways, this is my start, and I'm stitching it on 28 count, Picture This Plus, fresco. And I did an upper right start, if you're looking at it, which is fun. I almost did a center start, but that would have plopped me right in these houses. And I figured working down into the houses would be more fun. Or is that where I am? Yeah. So I've kind of established this first tree, and I think the next thing I'll do is this first house up there. So this first hill is where I'm focusing. And there it is. It was so much fun to work on, and it gets one more day. One of my goals this month is to go back to my 3-day rotation, which I tried earlier this year, and it worked really well. And then we're going to call these hopes and dreams. I don't remember who I was watching that talked about that, but these are my hopes and dreams, because I keep like setting goals and trying. I have every intention of keeping with them. And that is so challenging this year. 2024 is, man, there's just so much going on. It's been really hard to stick to any kind of routine or regimen or structure. And that's okay. That's okay. I would rather stitch and enjoy it than slog through what I said I would do and not get any pleasure from it, right? So it's okay. But I'm going to try to stick to a 3-day rotation. We'll see how it goes. May the odds be ever in my favor. Oh, I'm holding this backwards. Okay. Anyway, so that's my start. I love it. It's summery and beautiful. These are grapevines here, so we'll get some purple in there. And then the first house starts right there. So I love it. I'm so excited to be finally stitching one of these. And I'm so glad I decided to let go of the size block in my head and just start it, because that was happy stitching for the last couple days. Okay, my next start comes from Sweet Land of Liberty by Blackbird Designs, and I am stitching Salute to Abigail, which is gorgeous. I love it. I'm doing it with the called for thread gatherer silks. Here are a few of them. I need to get them little baggies so they don't fuzz up. That's why they were sitting in the book. But this is so pretty. And I just have a modest start on it. But this will be tomorrow's project. So I'm stitching this on 36 count prairie grass linen from Seraphim Fabrics. And I'm stitching it 1/2. And there we go. That's that center vase that I was working on. Beautiful fabric. Beautiful pattern. Beautiful project bag. No, just kidding. Anyways, so that'll be tomorrow's project if I get any time to stitch. We probably will, because one of our traditions, one of our family, this will be so fun. I haven't had a 4th of July with family in 6 years. We've just always lived away from them, or yeah, it's been a long time. So this will be really fun. And one of my family traditions for 4th of July is watching Independence Day and The Sandlot. So if it's hot and we want to hide inside for a while and watch those before the fireworks, we will have some stitching time. Because I've seen them so many times, I can completely enjoy it without staring at it, right? So that'll be fun, and hopefully I can get a little bit of progress on that. All right, my last, I think this is my last start. Oh no, second to last start was completely spontaneous. I just found that I was in this day and I had this project slotted for the day, and I didn't want to stitch it. And so I went up to my room and pulled out one of my it's not old, but I mean, I've had the pattern for a few years at least, and I've had it kitted up for a while also. So I just pulled a kit that felt good, still felt summery, and Heart and Hand by Brenda Gervais. And I did some border stitching, which was just, I think it goes, I want to say it's that way that I was working on it. It just felt good. It was just, you know, there's counting involved, but you know, you do your full stitch every 10, and that makes it easier. And it was just, I don't know, something about it was very calming. I'm stitching this on, this is kind of a tough one. I'm not sure who dyed the linen. If you know, feel free to comment. I got it at Shepherd's Bush. It is a 36 count. I'm stitching 2/2. It's a little bluer than it's showing in the picture. It definitely has a distressed denim kind of feel. The color is Agatha Orphan, but they didn't write down the dyer. So 36 count Agatha Orphan, mystery manufacturer. And that just felt good. So I don't know when I'll work on this again, maybe on another day that it just feels right. But yeah, it was just one of those days, and now I have a really solid start. So if I wanted to start putting in little motifs or just keep going on the border, it's easy to pick it up at this point. Blop. And it lives in my pretty bag. Tilda. Okay, the last one, I wasn't gonna start this, but then my sister came over on Saturday to drop off. She watched Grace while I was gone, my Labrador, who's asleep in a little ball right down here in her blanket. So they brought her home, which was so nice, because I swear we got home on Friday night, super late. But you walk into the house and there's no greeting. And it was like, oh, are we home or are we just in another hotel? So it's so nice to have her home again. And we were watching some Expedition Unknown while the baby slept. One of my favorite shows. And she pulled out Summertime Magic, which she had started a few weeks before while she was visiting me, and her progress was so cute. And actually Amber, Rogue Mama Stitcher, is also stitching this, and I want to say she started up here, but I could be totally misspeaking, don't quote me on that. Anyways, it's so cute. She's definitely why I bought the pattern. And anyways, so I saw my sister's and I just wanted to stitch it. So I pulled out my kit. I already had it ready to go. I just wasn't going to start it yet. And I gave it a few stitches. So this is just the start of that center dragon. And yeah, not a huge start, but again, it's a good enough start that I have a great launching off point when I pull it out again. I'll probably pull this out again in August. August will be like summer sunflowers and into fall kind of vibes for my stitching, but this month is sci-fi, a jolly sci-fi July. We'll get into that later. Okay, so now we'll just go into what I worked on, because those were my starts, and now I just have a handful of whips that I put some stitches into. So the first one is Adventure Sampler. I started this as one of my 12 by 12 starts, and I love it. I am doing a full color conversion on it. So, but this is a fabulous pattern. I'm really enjoying stitching on it. And I suppose this is as good a time as any to kind of tell you about one of my percolating plans. So you'll have seen in the before picture that I'll post up, because I'm editing my videos now like a computer genius, that I've added this deer and then the beginnings of 2 trees. And so all that's left is a couple trees and the big kahuna in the middle, which I'm saving the best for last. Sasquatch must come last. He's hiding in the forest, right? Anyways, full color conversion. I'm stitching this on 28 count, Picture This Plus fresco, which I love, and I hope it shows, well, it doesn't really show, but it has just the most subtle blue and green over dye to it. So it really feels very appropriate for the project. So I'll tell you here, and I'll just be quick about it. I don't know why I have to be quick about it. I'm gonna stop saying that. This will just be a longer video probably, and that's okay. It's been a month. I have lots to do, lots to talk about. Anyways, so last year's 12 by 12, I started 12 new projects. The year before, I started 6 and I worked on 6 whips. This year, for 12 by 12, I'm going to try to set up 12 projects and finish them during 12 by 12. It's kind of ambitious, but I think I have enough projects that are like right at the cusp of like, you know, there's just a little bit to go, that if I spend the next 5 months prepping it so that I only have 100 stitches or so to put in, I think it would be really kind of a slam bang finish, as Danny K would say, to the year, to finish 12 projects and then have an extravaganza on New Year's Day and start a couple. I think that could be really fun. So that's kind of what I'm working towards. You'll notice as we go through the next, oh, he lives in my Sasquatch lover's bag. Anyway, so you'll notice over the next few months, as I start to get closer to the finish on project, you'll probably be like bouncing in your chairs like, come on, Laura, just finish it. You're so close. No, I'm not gonna, okay? I want to finish them on New Year's Eve. So it's kind of weird because there are definitely a few that are right there, and it's very tempting. I could just like finish a whole bunch, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think it could be a really fun twist on the 12 by 12. Every year's a little different. And then maybe next year, if I also finish a bunch of things through the year, I'll have another startitis 12 by 12, which would feel really free if I've like made all that progress, right? Like, it'd be great. Just ideas, thoughts. Okay, next one I worked on is Hightide by Rosewood Manor. I'm using all the called for everything. Called for fabric, called for flosses, no changes. It doesn't need it. It's gorgeous. Pop up a before picture. And we are here. So I added in these creamies and wrote like dusty terracotta colors and these rusts, and yeah, good progress. I mean, it's not monumental, but it's solid. It got a couple good days, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So this will be one that it's not slotted to be worked on this month, but if I give something an hour and then I'm like just not feeling it, this will be in my bag next to my chair so I can pull this one out because I'm loving it. I'm loving watching it grow. And I can hardly wait to get into these jellyfish are so beautiful. They're mostly cryonics, so they're very sparkly. And really, actually, this whole bottom corner, well, really the whole bottom half, I just think that part is so beautiful. And the contrast with the darker part of the fabric. Yeah, see, I've just got it. It's got to be available if the mood strikes, right? And that one lives in this bag. And these are all made by me bags. Or Glamazon bags. Okay, so the next one I worked on is Seaside Tiny Town. I've been slowly puttering through and collecting as I go the Heart and Hand Tiny Town series. I have completed, I think I've only completed the Valentine's Day one. I don't remember what it's called. That one I did in less than a week. I just got obsessed in February and I got it done really quickly. And I was very encouraged after that. I was like, oh man, I am going to just fly through these. It's going to be awesome. I should probably be buying all of my patterns because I already have all the fabric for them. I did that last summer when I started this one. But no, I have a piddly start on Blooming Tiny Town. But I have made considerable progress on this. So you will have seen in the before that I just had a couple of houses, 3 or 4 houses done. And I have since gone in and done almost all of the white and then started filling in around the white. So this house and the blue, and I started adding in these browns. I am missing the color for this house. And I want to say it appears somewhere. Oh, it's up in this fish that sits up on here. And I tried really hard to go through my floss and find something that would sub nicely for it, but I haven't found anything that I'm happy with. So I'm going to go out sometime this month, probably while my mom is in town later in the month. She'll have to have her inaugural Shepherd's Bush visit, and I'll pick up that missing Classic Colorworks while I'm there. And then hopefully I'll either finish this one in August, or I'll prep it for a 12x12 finish. We'll see how I'm feeling. I'm still going to finish things through the year. It's just I need to pick my 12 and then, get them to that point. And I've only picked 3. So I have 8 more to find. Anyways, it's super fun. Apparently it was not cut on the, they did not pull a thread, or I did not pull a thread, or the combination of whoever cut the fat quarter and then me, I would have, anyways, drives me crazy when it's not cut on the thread and then it's crooked on the fabric, because you can see the line of the stitching, and then that it gets shallower on one end. Whatever, it's fine. It's not going to matter because I'm doing flat finishes on these, and something similar to how they do it in the picture. Anyway, so it's not going to matter if it's a little crooked because I don't need very much over and I can straighten it out. But just one of those pet peeves. I did pick up the, what's it called? Patriotic Tiny Town. And then I did go through my flosses. Oops, pattern, sorry. Rookie mistake. Let's see if I can show you these. Picked out some colors. So, and like I said, I'm stitching them all on. This is Pictureless Plus Sand. I'm fairly confident. And I have fabric for all of them. So if I get the hair to start that tomorrow, perhaps would be a good day. So there are 31 days in July. I've picked 10 projects. This is probably premature, but plans in the middle. I've picked 10 projects that will get 3 days each, but that leaves one floating day. So I've decided that the 4th of July is a free day. I don't know why I put that part in quotes. The 4th of July is a free day. And that will be awesome. So I can kind of stitch whatever I want, but it's also a holiday, so I kind of want to be in theme. So I could start that and work on Abigail as well. It's free day. I can do what I want. I can always do what I want. It's my stitching. Okay, next one. I haven't done much on part 3 for the pollinator style, but I did put in some stitches, so I thought I'd share that with you. It also gives me an opportunity to talk about something that has been brought to my attention since I did my part 3 launch video. So part 1, part 2, we're bouncing over here to part 3 for the upper part of the cactus, and which I have learned, you guys are awesome. The comments are fabulous. I am slowly trying to reply to things, but and get better about that. But I am definitely reading them as they come in. And so I have been educated that the cactus is pronounced saguaro cactus. The G is silent. So I was butchering it the whole time. It's okay. So saguaro cactus, we're doing the upper half and these awesome birds and the butterfly, and then these yellow blooms with that bottom branch and the... Go see the other video if you want more details. It's interesting, right? The other thing that has been brought to my attention is I am stitching with the called for floss. So I have 3 overdyes and the remainder are all DMC. If you are stitching, she is wonderful and gives a DMC alternative. But if you're stitching with the DMCs across the board, your guacamole, which is our green for the cactus, is going to be pretty much the same color as the hole he lives in, our little thresher here, or not thresher, our little bird. Flicker, Flicker, that's what he's called Flicker. Anyways, so you will, let's see if I can reorient my brain here. So if you're stitching with all DMC, you'll need to find an alternate for your cactus, something a little bit darker than this fabulous lime green that's in there. It occurs to me just now that I should have picked out a couple of options just to be helpful, but I didn't. And my DMC card is in a land far, far away. So, but trust yourself, just go a little bit darker, and so that you have some contrast, so this little bird his little home will show. It's a circle home, and then you can stitch all around it, and it'll be great. It's gonna be great. But it is a good thing to be aware of, and something that I hadn't considered since I am doing the overdyed option. So that's where I am. I know it's very impressive on a dyed by me Ada 14 count, and I will make more progress on that so that we'll be ready for part 4 on the 30th of July. That sounded very infomercially. I should have been on TV. Okay, next thing you haven't seen in a hot minute because, okay, I'll be honest, I got bored with it and distracted. And then I moved in life, so. Many people did a leap year start, and I joined in the fun. Let me see if I can find my picture. I have chosen to do the Anniversaries of the Heart, and I'm starting right smack dab in the middle because it was the easiest one and required the least amount of brain power, since it's Daniel and mine, my husband's and mine information, if you will. This is our square. So the swans right in the middle, Swan Lake. And I haven't gotten to the point where I'm making any changes yet, but I'm almost there. Any customizations, I should say. Dun, dun, dun. Also, this is also the reason I had a big giant piece of 28 count linen for my summer town earlier, the first one I showed, is because I thought I would stitch this project on a 28 count, and then I decided, no, this will be like poster sized if I do it that way. So we downgraded the size a little bit, and I settled, I'm very happy with it. Where's the information? Nobody knows, least of all me. Here we go. Okay, 36 count. Picture this plus sand. So it's the same color, maybe? Same company. Smaller count. I am doing 2/2, so it's poofy, but the white, I worried about the white showing with 1/2. So we've got 2, they're poofy stitches, and I've only added a swan and a half. But here's the dealio schmealio, okay? So I charted out, you know, I did all the planning, and I've started assigning family members to different blocks, and I wrote down all the patterns and dimensions, and I also, somewhere in here, so I have to do it in 4 years. I have to be done by leap year, so April, whatever day it is. Oh my gosh, embarrassing. April 2028. Is that right? 4 years out? 4 to 8? Yes. I have to be all the way done with them. So I actually have like landmark goals for each square, and I'm behind the times. So by the end of August, or the start of August, no, it'd be the end because we started at the end of April. Yeah, it was the end of April. My brain, it's not working. I mean, it kind of is, but anyways, before the start of November, I need 2 blocks done, and I should have Swan Lake done by the start of August. So I have a month to finish this. I think that's what it is. I'm on track still, but I gotta get moving. I've used up all of my extra time. I've got to get moving because I have to fill in the whole house. I'm going to change this to, what was I going to do up there? I wrote it down somewhere. Anyways, I've got details up here, and I have to put on all the 1/1 words at the year we got married and this bottom thing. So I've still got quite a bit of stitching to do as far as the whole block goes. But I definitely have the bones in. So especially with the fill-in, if I'm just tired one day, this is the perfect thing to pull out. And so in the next month, my goal is to finish this block so that I'm ready to start the next one and stay on track with my leap year Sal. So there she is. That's the plan. And one final, oh, this picture's so mangled. I probably shouldn't even show this, but I'm gonna. It's so mangled. Okay, here's my excuse. I put it in a tiny little bag. So when I finished I Want to Believe, this bag was empty, and this project had just been in like a plastic gallon baggie. Long time, Last of Us quote from Nocturnus Arts on Etsy. I just saw somebody finish this, and she stitched it on the most beautiful, like, blue-green background. Oh, it was so pretty. It was so, so pretty. And I'm still happy with my fabric, but it's, like, not as exciting. Hers was so pretty. Anyways, I barely did anything on this. I corrected something in here and then I worked on that little branch. I mean, it was just like, I saw her finish. I'll have to figure out who it was and link her below. It was on Instagram. I saw her finish and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so fun. And everybody was doing strawberries in June. And not that I stitched a strawberry, but you know, someday I'll stitch strawberries on this. I think in August I'll rewatch the show and then I'll stitch this while I'm watching it and it'll be awesome. Anyways, super impressive. I know. The Eva impressive. Oh, what's my fabric? I don't even know. It is 28 count something. It's one of the old weeks. I know that. It was back in my lovely Portland days when I could go to Acorns and Threads, which I miss dearly. But it's very floppy. You know, I've ironed it, so it's got some body right now, but it really loosens up and it's fairly sheer. But it will work for this. It is working for this. And I do like the color. I like that when you get, actually I can show you. So when you get the other colors on it, the reds and the whites really pop. So I wanted those daisies to show. It'll be beautiful. It'll be great. It'll have that, like, you know, warm summer evening kind of vibe to it. If cross stitch has that. My brain. Okay, it's all good. It's all good. That's everything I worked on. So I have a little bit of a mini haul. It's mostly just patterns. Because as I said, I was tired. So I went to Stitcher's Paradise and then I also checked out Stitchery Express, which I've had many comments on. You should also check out this. It's right in your neck of the woods. And I was like, okay, I will. But I wanted to go when I could, like, you know, come home with something. So I went, oh gosh, it's almost a month ago. I went to their Saturday stitching group, which is free to attend from open to close on that day, every Saturday. It's so much fun. I am unavailable, unfortunately, the next 2 Saturdays, but I really want to go later this month, and just kind of meet up with everybody again and, you know, try to get some kind of social interactions, make some friends. And anyways, it's a very different style store. The stitching room feels like your traditional quilt shop in a lot of ways, but then on the other side, it's almost kind of a warehouse style. And I learned from talking to the owner that Cindy, who is lovely and has more energy than I do. I'm ever impressed. Anyways, they've been online for years and are just kind of, they've attained more space and so they're working on, they're open to the public, but they're working on like becoming officially open to the public, if that makes any sense. Anyways, it's great. They have so much stuff. That one, I mean, I think you could go every time. You could go every Saturday for a year and look through stuff and always find something new. Like, there was so much there. It's amazing and overwhelming and and great. So anyway, so I've picked some stuff up from there and then I picked some stuff up from Stitchery Express, and enough rambling. This is what I found. So I finished Hello Summer. It seemed only appropriate to pick up Hello Fall, and I hope to start that. I might change the moon. The moon's a little funky dunky, but I love the stars in it. And I love the crow or the raven. We'll call it a raven because it's autumn and that just feels appropriate. Anyway, so I picked that one up. I picked up Little House Needleworks. What is the actual name? Pumpkins for Sale. And this one I saw the sample of in Stitcher's Paradise and it was beautiful. It's just, it's a gentle fall picture, right? Like Stitch. It's really cute. I really enjoyed that. This one is just hilarious. This one gives me a giggle. Birds of a Feather. What's his name? Fat Cat. They also had a sample of this, and it was just like, oh my gosh, he's hilarious. He's got a snake in his tummy. Too many treats. Oh my gosh, his eyes. You can tell he's just like, what have I done? Mistakes have been made. I regret my choices. I think he will be so much fun to stitch. Need to find some background fabric for him. As I've seen a couple other people share, Liz Matthews, hello from Ms. Liz Matthews, released her Patreon. I was not actually part of it anymore. I'd kind of stopped at the start of the year, but I jumped on just for a month when I saw her announce this one because it's pretty fantastic. The seagulls, the whale weather vane on the top, the aquarium-like ocean. It's fantastic. So just did a month so I could get that. And then at Stitchery Express, I found 2 Told in a Garden charts. Oh, I'm so shaky. Which are beautiful. This one says, I don't know that I'll do the phrase on the bottom. I mean, it's lovely. I place the pieces of my quilt in order and design. The path it takes, the love it makes, forever will be mine. But even just, I mean, I'm a quilter, so the quilters out there will relate. It is beautiful, and that sampler quilt with the chain running through it. I mean, I love it. It's beautiful. So one day I'll start that. And this one, the grandmother's house, it has just a couple too many children. I'm going to take a couple out, and maybe I'll take another Told in the Garden. I've got one that has like little chickens and ducks on it, and I'll just transfer in. My grandmother had 13 grandchildren, and so I thought it would be fun to switch that so there are 13. Someday, again, and these are not immediate plans by any means. I picked up Fables and Fairy Tales to cross stitch by Veronique Angenier. I'm not sure how it's said. It's French though, and I believe, I want to say Rogue Mama Stitcher has this book as well, and she did a bit of a show and tell through it. But I mean, the designs are, here, I'll just show the back. They're delightful. They're really lovely, and I just have this, I don't know. There's one that's Alice in Wonderland that I want to stitch so bad for myself. But then there are others. See, they show the chart on a lot of them. There are others that I think would stitch together. If stitched up, they would go together really nicely to make like a little fairy tale quilt or wall quilt or something like that for some niece or nephew along the way. Anyways, just delightful, and if nothing else, a beautiful book to have in my collection. There's a Christmas one I want as well, but for another day. The last thing I picked up was a Tiny Modernist Christmas Snow Globe, which is so cute, but then I saw it stitched at Stitcher's Paradise, and she had done it on this fabric, it's the printed company. Sorry for the plastic sounds. I'm trying to get the information here for you. It's a 32 count linen. Color Snow on Aqua. Is it Fabulous Fabric Flare? Fabric Flare, that's what it is. Oh, sorry. Fabric Flare. I knew if I racked my brain long enough it would come to me. Anyways, it was so dang cute stitched on this fabric, and I fell in love with it. I do have some floss collecting to do with it, so it will not be part of my Jolly July plans. But that's okay. It can be a start in after Thanksgiving. So super, super fun. So that's all my haul. Mostly patterns, like I said, just the one piece of fabric. And yeah, nothing that I'll be starting immediately, but I'm excited about it all. So now let's jump into my plans for July. So it is Jolly Sci-Fi July, which is kind of a convergence of my July, which is Sci-Fi July. I love stitching, you know, Star Trek and, you know, space things. And I definitely, at this point in the summer, dive into my sci-fi entertainment, and I watch a lot of creature features. So, you know, somehow that's just what my mom would watch. And so it trained me to do that too. So thought I would just pop through kind of what I'm thinking, because I want to, but I also want to participate in, last year I did 3 weeks of Sci-Fi July, and then the final week was Jolly July, so Christmas projects. And I kind of wanted a bit looser structure. So I have chosen 5-ish whips and 5 starts. And they vary from sci-fi themed to Christmas themed. And with a little nerdy exception, because I want to work on it. So let's just go through those. And we'll start with the nerdy exception, which I'll have to pop up a picture of. It is called, though, let me get the information here, Master Sword and Ocarina, which is a Legend of Zelda fandom stitch. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I got it from Glitch Stitch AU on Etsy last year. And I want to say it was a Mania start. It's just a baby Mania start, though. It's like, if it's even 50 stitches, I'd be surprised. And I have no idea which direction it goes. Probably this way, just based on the direction of the stitches. Anyways, itty bitty start. It's just so tiny. But the color palette in this is scrumdiddly. It's so good. It is, let me pull out my flosses. Oh, just so good. They're so, so pretty. And perhaps the reason I didn't do more is because it's on this black, but it's summer. There's good light, and I have a neck lamp. It'll be great. Anyways, I'd really love to give this some TLC. And then we've got Star Trek. Let's cuddle and watch Star Trek. Sounds like a good night to me. This is from Stitch by Stitch on Etsy. And when I bought the pattern, I was definitely bemoaning the fact that, I'll just show you this. It's full coverage. And some brilliant person was like, hey, don't be dumb. No, they didn't say that. They were very kind. Wouldn't it be a great idea if you stitched it on red fabric and then only stitched the white? And I was like, oh, yes. So hunting for red fabric I went, and this color red just felt very uniformy, and I got a start on it last year. So I really would like to make some good progress on it. It will get 3 days this month. We'll see what I can do with that. Then we jump into the Jolly July part of life. And I'm going to pull out Christmas Tree Farm by Prairie School Sampler, which I am doing a conversion on, inspired by the Humble Bumble Stitcher on Instagram. This was her finish, or their finish, and it is so great. I loved it the moment I saw it and went out. It was one of those moments where you like completely switch directions and pick this up. Both versions are gorgeous, but this one just speaks to me. So I went through and picked out all the flosses and got a modest start on that last December, but then I haven't worked on it again. So I would really like, there's a road that goes through, I'd like to finish the road and then I would like to do, these are my goals, right? I have 3 days with it. So if I could do the road, which goes all like that, and then throw Santa, the sleigh, the tree, and this first year. So basically this little corner and the road, I would love to have that in, because that really gives you the bones for coming off into another row of houses or starting some of these trees and stuff. Anyways, loving this one. I'm excited to pick it up again. Get some more colors in. It's in my cute gnome winter bag. Also here, I do not have a list compiled yet of my colors. I had somebody request it. I need to type it up and make that available because I'm happy to share. I don't know what I will use or won't use or if I'll add more things to this yet, but this was just my initial floss pull for just kind of converting as I go. It's not as organized as some of my other conversions are. Okay, this next one is Santa's Trips by Barbara Anna, and I will pop a picture up on it. I'm stitching it on R&R linen Beach Brew 32 count. I think I started it in 2021, so I'd really like it to finish it this year. Excuse me. And this is where I am. My goal for Jolly July with 3 days is to get the rest of the squares framed in and then to work on the border. I'm not going to say I'm going to complete the border because that feels ambitious. I just don't know how much time I'll have. I mean, you've seen how some of my months go. Some of them I only stitch half the days, so we'll just see. But if I could get at least those next 3 frames in and then make progress on the border, it's going to be great. I love the border on that one, by the way. It's like, this is a project I really want to be done because I just want it out for the season. Okay, and now we get into my my starts for this month. So the first one is one I actually planned on starting last year and it just didn't happen. UFO and Rabbit by Una Buena Pieza on Etsy. It is so cute. It's so darling. I love the beam of light coming down onto the rabbit. Very clever. The reason I didn't start it last year, I think, is because I had chosen an 18 count Ada for it and I just wasn't thrilled about that. I have since switched it to a 28 count linen, so make easy stitching, and the colors are just all gonna pop. They're really happy colors. So I'm gonna start that. That'll get 3 days for sure. In fact, I think I do that one next week. The next one is, I'll just pull out the whole bag. I got this from, it was a kit I bought at Jingle Ball last year. So Ink Circles, Seas, and Greetings, which has just the most delightful details. It is the cutest. I'm thrilled to be starting this. I really wanted to start it last year, but it just didn't fit into the lineup. By the time I got it in the mail, though it was quick shipping, I'm not complaining. So I have the called for Ada, and then I have pulled or purchased floss for it over the last 7 months. So I'm really excited to start that one. I don't know where I'll start. It'll be a surprise. That'll get 3 days. And then, oh, I mixed a couple of summer ones in to my starts. So it's SciFi. It's a jolly SciFi summer July. Because I couldn't quite let go of summer. I've had my fun with patriotic stitches through June though, so I'm definitely ready to kind of move on from there. But I have some wonderful summer stitches that I want to work on. So the first will be Summer ABCs. I started the, is it the Stitchers ABCs or something like that in, I think it was part of my 12 by 12. And I saw somebody working on the spring one, and then when I saw the summer one, let's be honest, it's somewhere between the quilt and the watermelon and the bee skip at the bottom. I was just like, yep, I'm in. I have all the floss. Well, I've pulled substitutions for, you can see here, I've I've done substitutions. The only one I'm missing is I couldn't find a gold that would work well. And I think I'm just going to go out, and when I pick up the one color for that other project, I will also pick up a gold. This isn't slotted till later in the month anyways, so. But I've kind of got a rotation where I go like sci-fi, jolly, summer, sci-fi, jolly, summer kind of thing. All right, and the last one I'm starting comes from Cross Stitch Happy Days by Kyoko Maruka. And I am starting an avalanche, Watcher of the Skies, which is just so beautiful. So beautiful. Ooh, we watched a really good sci-fi movie a couple days ago. Oh, this is the fabric called for. It's beautiful. And called for DMCs. This is going to be a fun one to stitch. The colors are just good. It was called, it's not a new one. It's a few years old. It's George Clooney, Midnight Sky, I think is what it was called. The world has an apocalypse of some sort, and he is one of the remaining living people on the surface of the earth. But there's a ship that's on a return journey from a planet that Earth wanted to colonize to save humanity. And he's trying to get in touch with them to tell them not to come home, basically. It's so good. It was so good. It's one of those ones that kind of sticks with you. And that's one of the things I love about sci-fi is they're often a bit more existential, if you will. And they kind of make you think about different things depending on the story. And, but they can also just be rip-roaring adventures. They can, I don't know. I love sci-fi. Sci-fi is great. It's such a great medium to have like really big, important conversations, but then also just completely open up to scientific imagination and the possibilities of what could be out there. And I don't know. Sci-fi is good. Yeah, so that's my plans. I've got whips. I've got new starts for this month. I'm really excited for this month's stitching. I'm itching to get my hands on all of them. I am still plugging away on Pollinator. That's one of my morning stitches. I have a couple secret stitches I also stitch in the morning. Secret stitches. So I guess I will wrap things up. I did want to do one real quick thank you. So Laurel, excuse me, from I Am a Stitch Nerd sent me a lovely card right after we moved, and tucked into it is this really fun little fob for, you could either put it on a bag as a zipper pull or use it with your floss, so it might get tangled up. But it's so cute. It says, I'm in a quilt gang, and has a Singer sewing machine on it. It's so cute. When I opened it up, I was tickled. And I also learned that she has an Etsy shop. I don't know why I didn't know that, but she tucked in her card. So check her out. But mostly, Laurel, thank you. I'm going to put it on a bag. It's so cute. Thank you for thinking of me. It's lovely of you. Do I have anything else for you? I think that's pretty much it. I hope everyone, if you're in the States and you celebrate 4th of July, that you have marvelous and safe celebrations. Please don't set any wildfires, any man-made fires, if it's not safe to do so. I think my husband was saying that France also celebrates an Independence Day coming up soon. So happy Independence Day to you as well. But mostly to everybody, happy summer. I hope you're all having good times out in the sun. And if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, that you're doing cozy things since it's a colder time of year for you. I plan on being in the sun as much as I can because it makes me happy. Yeah, getting some stitching done, and yeah, I don't really have anything grand other than live long and prosper, my friends. Take care, happy stitching, and I will see you very soon.